The Monte and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite four-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah.
Perfect timing. I put on HBO Max, and they have this program called, I guess, Hollywood Murderers or something. I don't forget the name. But who's there?
Yeah.
The great Von Erich family. And who else is there? Yourself. I guess your cousin, right? And your sister. So how was that?
Yes.
Yeah. And how was that family experience?
Well, I mean, after the movie came out, we were so happy that somebody wanted to do the real story of the Von Erichs after the movie came out, because all of us were hurting. And we just wanted to clear up things about Granddad, and I really wanted to clear up things about my dad. So when Discovery Channel wanted to do that, we were kind of thrilled. I don't normally like talking about some of that deeper stuff very much, but when I just felt like the need to do it. So we're excited. So Discovery Channel was great. They flew me out to California to be with Lacey so that we could film together. And Lacey insisted that we film separate from each other because I cry a lot and she likes to laugh a lot. So her way to cope is to laugh and mine is to just cry. So Lacey was like, I can't interview with you, otherwise I'm just going to cry the whole time. So she was interviewed separately from me, and it was an entire day. Lacey, I think, filmed for 4 hours. And then, so that was like an emotional roller coaster because we had all these cameras and this whole crew at her house. And so she filmed for 4 hours. So I emotionally went through that. And then I was the last probably 3 hours of filming, but you never know that based on the clips you see, but that was an entire day. They didn't leave the house. They came at 7 and they didn't leave till 9:00 that night. So it was a long emotional day, and Lacey and I needed like 2 days to recover from that emotional roller coaster.
When you see the final product,
but they're great. I mean, they're really good.
So the final product you were happy with?
Say that again.
The final product of the actual show, were you happy with it, or is it like a Dark Side of the Ring where they like get clips of you and they kind of twist it on you, make you try to make things look bad?
I think that it was pretty accurate. I mean, like I said, it was 3 hours of interviewing, so I did say a lot more about my dad. I feel like whenever I saw the Discovery thing, it was very accurate. Obviously, it was really accurate, but it was so dark. I mean, did you guys watch the whole thing? It kind of it made my heart hurt really bad, especially like the stuff with Uncle David and Mike. That just like really, it was so heavy. And so I always want people to know how much joy there actually was in our family and how much fun and goofiness and love there was. So I don't know how much that came out, but I think that it was great that Brian got to, and Bill and me and Lacey and Kristen and Uncle Kev, we all got to talk about some of the good sides, but it was still darker and sadder than I really would prefer it to have been, but it was accurate. So that's
I would say watching it though, the emotion, I mean, obviously there's emotion both on you and your sister's side and your uncle, but I was really moved by Bill, the way he reacted to everything like it was yesterday. I found it amazing. I actually found it very good. The only thing I didn't like was Dr. Drew kind of discrediting all the stories around your uncles, right? Like with David, what's been said about David, he tried to disprove that.
That was interesting. The Dr. Drew thing with, medicine has come a long way. And I think what really hit me the most was when Dr. Drew was talking about my uncle Mike. And we've always said toxic shock, and he was like, it's actually septic shock is what it sounded like. And that really hit me because my uncle Mikey, another Uncle Mike, but on my mom's side, he ended up in the hospital and he got septic shock, and he had a 2% chance of living. It was a really, really bad deal. But because medicine has come so far, they just like blasted him with antibiotics, and he's a miracle. I mean, he lived. And the thing that really hurt me was that, you know, had medicine been a little more advanced, Uncle Mike would probably, you know, maybe he would still be here. You know, I don't know, but that really hit me when I heard Dr. Drew talk about that.
You know,
yeah.
Holly, the way I took it, and again, the way you're explaining it is right, but the way I took it too is those doctors really saved your uncle, right? They worked diligently to
Yeah,
change the
they did.
situation he was under, and I kind of felt like he was saying, well, if they really knew what they were doing, you know, they could have gotten to Mike sooner, and maybe he wouldn't have these brain issues, and like you said, maybe he'd still be around. That's the way I took it, but again, I could see it both ways.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, hey, God's will prevail, but yeah, it was interesting. But yeah, you talked about Uncle Bill and his memory. Like, he has a memory like an elephant. Like, he can remember everything from those days. I'll get on the phone with him and he'll talk to me for 2 hours about things he remembers, and I'm like, how do you remember all of that? I love hearing his stories, especially the ones he has about Granddad.
Incredible. Let me ask you this. The one thing I do enjoy when I listen to you speak about your father is you always use the word daddy, right? And to me, I have a daughter myself, and it's emotional to me. And usually when you hear people speak about their deceased parents, it's either dad or mom. I guess a strange question. Is he still like your daddy? You're still his little girl?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah. I'll never lose that. Yeah, I mean, aw. Yeah. Oh, you're gonna make me cry, dang it. I told you I cried. That's why Lacey wouldn't interview with me.
That's a great pick.
No, you're not. I mean, you are, but it's okay. No, yeah, I will. I'll always think of myself that way. I mean, he died when I was 8. I was almost 9. And so, yeah, I mean, all I have are those memories of him when I was little, and you know, I was daddy's little girl, and yeah, so yeah, he'll always be my daddy. And when I talk to my kids about him, you know, it's like Granddad. You know, now we talk about Granddad a lot, but yeah, I don't know, it just comes naturally. I still call my mom mommy too, so
I love it.
yeah, there we are.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Holly, growing up Von Erich, I mean, you're born into this. How much pressure? What was it like growing up being a Von Erich? Like, did you feel pressure? Because after all, it's the Von Erich family, for goodness sakes. How about your schoolmates? Were they fully aware of exactly who you were and who your family was? Was there a lot of pressure, or was it easy?
Oh, yes. I mean, I was a little kid, so for me, it was like, it was cool. My dad, so when Daddy was alive, it was cool. I was always kind of the popular girl, and the girl all the kids wanted to hang out with because they knew who my dad was. And yeah, Daddy would come to my school, and he would read regularly, and he would climb in the window of my classroom, and he would rip his shirts off, and the kids would go crazy. And you know, like, yeah, one time Daddy came to read to me at school, and he had just got back from being on the road with WWE or F, whatever. And he was about to leave on another trip, and I was really upset. And he knelt down and was talking to me about it, and I just reared back and decked him across the face. And I mean, he was like, "Oh," like, I really hurt him. He was like, "Man, that really hurt." And stood up to leave, but he taught me some good fighting skills. But yeah, I mean, as far as feeling pressure as a little kid, it was just cool. But then when Daddy died at school, I was known as the kid whose dad killed himself. I mean, a lot of kids actually knew that that's what happened somehow, maybe from older siblings, or maybe their parents were just that open about it. I don't know. But so I'd have kids come up to me and say, you know, like, "Oh, do you know your dad killed himself?" You know, that was really hard.
Oof.
And then growing up where it was good, especially in athletics, anytime anything was hard, I would say like, okay, your dad, daddy is watching you. Like he was such a great athlete, so when I was in track and I was like dying, I would just always push myself hard knowing daddy was watching, and my dad was like this amazing athlete. And it paid off. I mean, I went to state and track, and I did really well in athletics, but that's where it was kind of cool, is I just always had this pride of being a Von Erich and being daddy's daughter, and knowing that I was capable of really anything. It's always been something that made me really proud, even to this day, like with what we've been through and what we've overcome. I'm really proud of myself, and I'm proud to be a Von Erich despite all of the things we've been through.
It must have been, Jimmy. I was thinking it must have been tough for the other kids, right? Because Hollie was always like, "My dad's better than your dad," and like, who's going to answer back, right? It's like, yeah, I guess he is, right?
Tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Tell you the truth, Mike. I'm thinking that at her school she had Kerry Von Erich climbing through the window, and we had Mr. Polina with a big nose and a Groucho Marx
Oh
mustache.
my God! So there you go, calling people's names out. Great, we'll get sued.
Yeah,
Thanks.
too bad.
Thanks
Guy
again,
was a
buddy.
jerk then. He's probably a jerk now. Whatever. And they've got Kerry climbing through the window. You think I care? It's 40 years ago. The guy was a jerk. Whatever.
So you see, Hollie's high school memories are fantastic, and ours, well, not so good.
Oh God,
Hollie, let me ask you this though: the dating scene, right? How many guys just wanted to date you, not just because you're a beautiful woman, but you're a Von Erich? They like you had to be very weary about that, right?
I'll be honest, I did not. People didn't really know, and I actually didn't date a lot. I was always really focused on athletics and school. I was pretty lame, I guess you could say. So yeah, I didn't date a lot. And in fact, the guy that I'm married to, Nick, he didn't find out that I was a Von Erich until he finally came to my apartment and saw pictures of daddy up. And he was like, and this is after we had been friends actually since 2003, and we didn't start dating until 2006. So it's 3 years later that he actually found out that my dad was who my dad was. It's not something
I'm not letting you
because I wasn't proud. It's just,
hold on. He comes over your apartment. Hey, Hollie, and here's pictures of your dad. He's like, "Are you a wrestling fan? Like, what's the conversation?" And then it's like, "Oh no, by the way,
yeah,
I'm a Von Erich."
I think maybe he might have said something like that, like, "Are you a wrestling fan?" But it turns out that my dad was like Nick's hero growing up. So, I mean, I got major points because he was just like, "Oh my God, your dad was my hero." I had his poster on my wall. I was like, "Oh, wow, that's so cool." But yeah, anyway.
Jimmy, what like just...
It didn't hurt that he was my personal trainer. So I already had big points.
Okay, I got you. So, Jimmy, let's look at it this way. Hypothetically, not that it would happen. You're dating Hollie and you go to her apartment and you see pictures of Kerry Von Erich. Are you just like marking out, or what are you doing there, buddy?
What are you talking about? I'm married to Wahoo McDaniel's widow.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
What are you talking about? I mean, look, everybody's a person. They're a person.
You mark out every day.
Yeah, at the end of the day, is it a huge bonus being a professional wrestling fan and having her turn to me and go, "By the way, I'm a Von Erich"? Yeah, super Mark. Woohoo! Of course, absolutely.
That's probably why he put up with me for so long.
Yeah, that's for sure, right? I get it.
Hollie,
I really think it was. I think that was a big part of it.
Yeah.